Finally, it's here. Best Toon Disney and Disney XD shows. Now, some may be wondering why I'm doing these two channels at the same time. Well, you see, Toon Disney existed, but then in about February 2009, Disney decided to change the name from Toon Disney to Disney XD. Now, why XD? Well, at first I thought it either stood for Extreme Disney or go the incredibly stupid route, well, dumber than Extreme Disney, where it's meant to be, someone laughing their ass off like, ah ha ah ah, but it was neither one of those. You see, the reason it's XD is because apparently XD sounds cool. No, I am not kidding you. That's the only reason, because apparently X is associated with cool things like X Games and shit. X-Men. Well, it was dark times. That's why it was stupid shit like that. But anyway, let's finally get to this stuff. Now, I'm gonna be breaking one rule, and that is it has to be an original show on the channel. The problem with Toon Disney and Disney XD is that, well, it was the channel for reruns. I mean, not really like Boomerang. It's like if it mostly showed reruns of older shows and, well, put them on the list. And, when else am I going to be able to talk about some of these other shows? So yeah, it could have rerun on Toon Disney, Jetix, or Disney XD. And also, if it was on my Disney Channel list, the best or the worst, it's not going to be on this list. So, no Gravity Falls, no Darkwing Duck, no Phineas and Ferb, no Wander Over Yonder, etc. Alright? Are we clear? Good. So, The Incredible Hulk the Animated Series. A bit of a weird thing about this show is that, well, it has the Hulk subtitle in it, Incredible, whereas other animated series haven't had that. I mean, Iron Man wasn't the Invincible Iron Man, it was just Iron Man. There was just Spider-Man, and so on. So yeah, I guess they thought Hulk was just too plain, but anyway, what's this about? Well, Bruce Banner is already the Hulk, and, of course, he's on the run from the government. The main villains of this show are the Leader and Gargoyle, who are two of the three biggest Hulk villains, the other one being Abomination, who is in, the first, few episodes. I remember. There's also other Hulk villains in here, like Zax and Absorbing Man, etc. And, well, the first season's a little dark, but in a good way. It has a great story, and, hey, you even get She-Hulk, who would later become more reoccurring character in the second season, which was also retitled The Incredible Hulk and She-Hulk. Kinda like how Young Justice's second season is Young Justice Invasion. Overall, it's a really good show. It's got its dark moments, which, is really great. And Hulk does share crossovers with a bunch of other heroes like the Fantastic Four and Iron Man. And even Ghost Rider. Imagine that. It's just a nicely written show, and it's just great overall. But not incredible enough to make it to the top 10. There was stiff competition. Power Rangers Jungle Fury, in my mind, a really underrated Power Rangers series. It's based off of, well, the Super Sentai series, Juken Sentai Geki Ranger. And, well, for the most part, is the same as the Sentai, save for a few differences. Now, what's it about? Well, it starts out with, well, well, this organization, I guess you could call it, called the Order of the Claw, which is a martial arts clan. They selected their top 3 members, being Lily, Theo, and Jared. However, Jared turns out to be, a bad choice, and they decide to replace him with this guy named Casey, who's a noob. And then Jared, he opens this container containing the powerful Daishi, who kills their master and takes over Jared's body. So the three karate masters, oh my god, did I just say that? They go to this guy named RJ, who, shows them that, hey, they can be Power Rangers. Casey becomes red, Theo becomes blue, Lily becomes yellow. RJ would eventually become the Violet or Wolf Ranger, and then they would get another guy named Dominic, who would be the White or Rhino Ranger. Now, RJ owns this pizza place, and he also has a coworker there named Fran, who would later discover the Ranger's secret, and spoilers at the end of the series, goes off with Dominic. There were also different masters that they met. This guy named Master Fant, Master Swoop, and Master Finn, who taught them different animal techniques. Yeah, their techniques are based on whatever animal they have. And Fant, elephant, which is learned by Lily, who yellow, and she's a cheetah. Master Swoop, that's a bat, which was learned by Theo, who is the blue jaguar ranger. And then Finn, who is shark, which was learned by Casey, who was the red or tiger ranger. And, well, they of course have, their Megazord, which is very much like Voltron. I mean, even down to the head reveal and for the fact that it's made out of cats. And with the add-ons, face replacement and whatever, it is, like wings with blades or a mace or swords, etc. And in terms of the villain, there's Daishi, who took over Jared's body, who is the spirit of the lion, and he's got his little minion girl named Camille, who is the chameleon, and, Daishi Jared can, morph into, like, this mutated lion ranger guy thing, and Camille can do a chameleon-like ranger. They're not technically rangers, and Jared does break the Daishi curse, and him and Camille do become good guys, though they're not technically rangers. And at the end, the 3 main rangers, Casey, Theo, and Lily, they give it all their power and destroy Daishi after Dominic and RJ get their asses kicked. Oh, and this also had 3 exclusive rangers, the Elephant Ranger, Shark Ranger, and Bat Ranger, which were green, cyan blue, and black. Never in the Sentai, and bland as hell. Didn't have any character. But yeah, I really like this show, and it's a shame that not many others do. So yeah, I definitely recommend you see it. No! This show was not based off of any of the Mighty Duck movies. No, it was more of a way for Disney to promote their new NHL franchise at the time, the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, who are now the Anaheim Ducks. I guess they weren't mighty anymore. I don't know, but anyway, so what's this about? Well, it's about these humanoid alien ducks that come from a planet called Puck World, and you can see where they're going. It's a world where ducks obsess over hockey, and they come to Earth in Anaheim, and, they're a team that plays hockey, and even the fans know that they're real ducks. It's kind of retarded, but Disney's had ducks in other crap, although this takes place in, the real world, there's ducks the ducks are interacting with humans, whereas, some DuckTales, it's ducks interacting with other animals. Yeah, what do we have? Well, there's the leader of the group named Wild Wing, who like I said, is the leader, and he's also a bit of a young guy. He doesn't really have that much experience, but, well, he does mature as the show goes on. There's also Nosedive, Duke, Mallory, Tanya, Check, and, well, there was Kennard, who was Wild Wing's friend, but he sacrificed himself to save the team in the first episode. Or was it? Yeah, it was like the first episode. But yeah. Yeah, you also gotta wonder, they're a team, so what if one of them gets traded? I don't know, maybe that doesn't exist. This show only lasted a season, and it was a bit over the top, but it was entertaining, and heck, even the villains were awesome. They were like these lizard creatures. There was Dragonus, who is a fucking badass. And there's Siege, and then there's Chameleon, who's kind of an idiot. There's Wraith. And then they've also got their own stormtroopers, the hunter drones. So yeah, I thought this was a pretty entertaining show. It can be a little goofy at times, but for the most part, great. Animation is awesome, and it even blends in a bit of CGI. I liked it. Tron Uprising. Yes, it is in the same continuity as the movies, both Tron and Tron Legacy. Tron Uprising takes place in between the two movies. Clue has taken over and, was building his army, blah, 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 the stuff that was explained in Tron Legacy, though I don't know if everyone saw Tron Legacy. But yeah, it's about this young program named Beck. Now, I want to get this out of the way first. None of the Flynns are in this. Kevin Flynn, Sam Flynn, they're not in this. It's about this program named Beck who gets trained by Tron to, well, be the next Tron, to protect the grid. And, he also has his friends who help him, defend themselves from Clue. And, well, the main antagonist of the show, General Tessler. Clue is still in the show, though Tessler does more of the crap than Clue does. The animation in this is beautiful. It's in CGI. I mean, it's just stunning, like Tron. Though the proportions of the people are a little off-putting. They have incredibly, mile-long legs, and then, torsos that are incredibly tiny. They're incredibly lanky people. But, it's not something to put the show down for. It's also one of those shows that didn't last long. It only lasted a season. Why? Disney kind of pulled a Cartoon Network by screwing this show over with terrible times. So yeah, that is a downer. However, quite frankly, I think this deserves a season 2, because there's more story to this, and hey, Elijah Wood's in this show, so that's gotta be something. I mean, if you don't like Elijah Wood, but yeah, he's back, by the way. But yeah, it's a great show, I wish it lasted longer. From the guy that brought you Megas XLR comes Motor City. And yeah, it does take place in D-Town, obviously. So, what's the story? Well, there's this guy named Abraham Cain, who I swear looks like the dad from Brave. Well, he takes over Detroit. Well, he owns Detroit now. And he builds this utopian version of Detroit on top of current Detroit called Detroit Deluxe. I always thought this was kind of like New York and New York in Futurama, where, there's New York on top, and then in the sewer is old New York. It's kind of like that, except, well, the outcasts are in old Detroit, except they're not mutants like in Futurama. No, living in old Detroit, or how it's, called Motor City, even though, Detroit is the Motor City, but, down there it's dubbed as Motor City, whatever. There is this rebellious group called the Burners, and they drive awesome looking cars that look like Hot Wheels cars, which, pretty cool. And led by this guy named Mike, who I swear kind of reminds me of Space Dandy for whatever reason. He's the leader, and, well, he was once one of Kane's cadet until, Mike figured that Kane just was a big evil douchebag, and he left. There's also his friend Chuck, who's kind of like Carl from Jimmy Neutron. I mean, he's a scaredy cat, and he always does the dangerous stuff with the best friend. And then there's also Julie, who is, well, the Burner's spy. She goes to Detroit Deluxe to, infiltrate, see what's going on. But unknown to her team, she is Abraham Kane's daughter. And no, Abraham does not know that she's part of the Burners. And there's also a bunch of other characters: Dutch, Texas, Jacob, and Roth. And they're all colorful characters. And I guess the animation in this is Flash, but it is fantastic. It's the best use of Flash I've ever seen. Better than Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Yes, I even said that. There is some CGI in there with like the robots and the cars, but though it does blend in pretty well. I do like this show, and again, like Tron Uprising, it only lasted a season because, refer to what I said in Tron Uprising. So, yeah. Hey, let's go for more. Power Rangers S.P.D. Power Rangers to the rescue. Na 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 na. Yeah. This iteration of Power Rangers is based off of Tokusatsu Sentai Dekaranger. And for the most part, it's mostly the same, though there are some big differences. Now, with these Rangers, there's something unique because they weren't supposed to be the main Rangers. You see, the Core 5 SPD Rangers, red, blue, green, yellow, pink, or in the show, Jack, Sky, Bridge, Z, and Sid, they weren't supposed to be the Rangers that, were out fighting crime and whatnot. No, they were the B Squad. There was this team of, SPD Rangers called the A Squad, who were pretty much repainted and modified Space Rangers. Like Power Rangers in space, not Buzz Lightyear Space Rangers. And, well, one day, they seem to have been killed, so the commander of it, Doggy Kruger, as he's called, bumps up B-Team, and, well, they're now the main heroes. Yay! They do, fight the monsters, and they do have their Zords. As for the Megazord, it's a little plain, quite frankly. I mean, it's cars and trucks. There's a helicopter in there, but I don't know. It's mostly white, and it looks like a police officer, but there's just not really anything to write home about with the Delta Squad Megazord. But yeah, the Rangers themselves are really awesome. Jack and Z were ex-criminals, while Sky, Bridge, and Sid, were training at the S.P.D. Academy. By the way, S.P.D. stands for Space Patrol Delta. In Dekaranger, it stood for Special Police Dekaranger. Yeah. There is a 6th Ranger in this, and that is the Omega Ranger, who is really this kid named Sam, although in one episode, Z meets this kid named Sam, although in the future he becomes the Omega Ranger at SPD. Yeah, the thing with SPD, it also takes place in the future, 2025, so it does bring up a curious question. What's the Power Rangers show that will be coming out in 2025 gonna do? Beats me. But yeah. It's not, the Omega Ranger doesn't, reveal that he's Sam until when he goes back to the future with the Nova Ranger. And there's also other Rangers, like Doggy is the Shadow Ranger. And there's also this one Dr. Chick there named Cat, who is the Cat Ranger, and she's this, like, half-cat alien thing. And, well, I guess you could also count the made-up Orange Ranger that was in it, though that was just a dream. And well, Deca Gold, who was in Deca Ranger, never appeared in this show, which, the villains are pretty cool. Well, Emperor Grum is, menacing. I mean, he's got Skull Head, and he's also got his little servant named Mora, who starts off as this little 10-year-old girl who draws monsters and then they come to life. Yeah, as badass as he is, he's having a little kid draw his monsters of the week. And, well, she eventually becomes, her full adult form, Morgana. So yeah, overall, this is pretty cool, although it does also feature a thing that's, has kind of plagued Power Rangers, Kalish explosions, as Linkara has put it. I'm not going to explain it here. You can find Linkara's video on S.P.D. But yeah, it's a pretty good show overall. So, you take characters from the Jungle Book and throw them into something that they would never experience in the Jungle Book. Like Baloo flying airplanes for a living, and Shere Khan being some sort of business tycoon. That could go so wrong so fast. But in Talesman's case, it doesn't. And here's why. So, yeah, the show does star Baloo, and he is an airplane pilot. He hauls cargo around. He had this air delivery service until it was bought by this chick named Rebecca, who is now his boss. He also gets this little sidekick, not Mowgli, but this cub named Kit. And there's also some other characters around. Like I said, Shere Khan is in this, and Louie is also in it, who is Baloo's best friend. And, well, there are some neat adventures in here, like there's air pirates. I almost said space pirates, but no, that'd be completely wrong. And, like, octopuses on airplanes, just some crazy stuff. And, well, it all works. The dialogue is great, the animation is incredible, and surprisingly, these Jungle Book characters do go well in this sort of environment, believe it or not. I mean, at the time, it was probably really goofy that Baloo from the Jungle Book, was wearing clothes and flying airplanes, and Louie is wearing this Hawaiian shirt, and he's like a bartender, and Shere Khan is wearing a suit. But it all worked. And thank God it did, because this is one of the best shows on Toon Disney. It's a show about Goofy, and you can never screw up Goofy. You have to be incredibly bad to screw up Goofy, actually. So, Goof Troop, what's this about? Well, Goofy moves back to his old town called Spoonerville, kind of an inappropriate name, quite frankly, and he's got his son, Max. Goofy is, of course, a single dad. There is no mention of the mom. And, well, Max is also 11. He moves next to Pete, who, of course, has his wife and 2 kids, one of them being PJ. And Max usually hangs out with PJ, and they do get into some antics, which are interesting. And Goofy is just fantastic. The humor with Goofy and Pete, just incredible. This show would also later spin off into a Goofy movie and an extremely Goofy movie. The first one being good, the other... yeah. Though, though it was, trying to be kind of cool with the kids, but um, still kept some sanity. So yeah, Goof Troop, it's just fantastic. It's goofy like Goofy. Teacher's Pet, well, let's start. The show stars this kid named Leonard, whose mother is a teacher at his school, and people call him Teacher's Pet, though he just wants to be a normal kid. Though one day there's this kid named Scott, who is cooler and everyone likes, but Leonard realizes it's his dog Spot, who can talk and, act like a person. Yeah, that's Teacher's Pet, basically. Oh, you want more? Oh, okay. Leonard and Spot do get on, certain adventures and whatnot. And the animation kind of reminds me of Nickelodeon. It also got a movie, which was supposed to be the series finale of the show, though the movie tanked. I didn't see it, so I feel kind of bad about that. But yeah, that's really it. It's a very simple show, yet works. Alright, Power Rangers Ninja Storm. The first Power Rangers series in the Disney era. And, well, they didn't film it in LA like previous Power Rangers series. They decided to move to New Zealand. Why? Because apparently it's cheaper to film in New Zealand, though. You gotta fly over there and get all your crap over there. I don't get it. But anyway, enough rambling about that. Power Rangers Ninja Storm, based off of Ninpu Sentai Herikanja. And this series starts off with 3 Rangers. This was the first Power Rangers series to start off with 3 Rangers. Red, yellow, and blue. And yellow's a male and blue is a female. There's Shane, Dustin, and Tori. Tori's the girl. And, well, they were the 3 selected students at the Wind Ranger Academy to become the Wind Power Rangers. To try to defeat Lothor, this evil ninja guy. And, of course, they do also have their own Zords that form the Storm Megazord, which, it's alright. It's better than what S.P.D had, though. But then later comes 2 more Rangers called the Thunder Rangers, who are first evil. And there's Crimson and Navy, who are later revealed to be these 2 dirt bikers named Hunter and Blake, who Dustin dirt biked with at one time. Yeah, and their Zords, there's the Crimson Insectizord and the Navy Beetle Zord. And they're both beetles that form the Thunder Megazord, which there's already a Thunder Megazord, so now we've got 2 Megazords that are the same name. They couldn't have called it the Thunderstorm Megazord or something else. I still don't get it. But yeah, I think it's cooler than what the Storm Megazord had. And, well, the primary gimmick for this is that, well, they get these tokens and they, put them in these slots, twist this dial, and they get out their weapons that are in, balls. It's kind of like those vending machines where the prizes are in the balls. You, put a coin in, twist the knob, and then out comes your prize. That's essentially what it is. And there's, this serpent sword, a flower axe, and a bunch of really goofy shit. There was also an episode that had to be completely redone, and it's the one with the turtle mace. That's because Shane and Dustin had to go to this War and Peace conference that was being infiltrated by Lothor, but But then afterwards, after that episode aired, the United States went to war with Iraq, so they had to refilm it and have it be an environmental conference. Yeah, just that's just how they did it. And then later on comes the 6th Ranger, the Green Samurai Ranger, who is Cam, who is like their tech guy and also the son of the whoever the hell he is, the master guy who was turned into a guinea pig. And yeah, he's also got a Super Samurai mode, where he loses his armor, and when he drops his armor, it always breaks the concrete, which is kind of cool. And he even has his own Megazord, the Samurai Star Megazord, which is like this bird copter thing, which turns into a robot. And then there's also this mammoth thing that can shoot the ball weapons. Overall, this was a pretty good first attempt for Disney at doing Power Rangers. The finale is even great because, the Rangers, of course, sacrifice their powers, and Lothar goes into like this bottomless pit along with their powers. And well, that would later come back in the next Power Ranger series, which we may or may not discuss later. So yeah, that is the end of part 1. I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for part 2. I will make sure part 2 comes out sooner than part 1 has. I've just been busy with school, that's all. So, take care, guys.